Hey, this is a review video. We're going to talk about multiplication and division. I hope that it's helpful. This is our agenda for today. We'll start by reviewing multiplication, and then we'll review division. It's helpful to remember that multiplication is groups of, so for example, in this one, we can use multiplication to figure out how many total fingers there are when there's five fingers per hand and 3 groups of 5. Multiplication is also used for repeated addition. So for example, I could write this as 5 plus 5 plus 5, or 3 times 5. Please look at these practice problems and practice writing down what it would be in terms of groups of, when you see 3 5s, so thinking of like 5 plus 5 plus 5, and also as a multiplication problem. Take a moment to pause the video and do these practice problems on your own. I went through and solved these problems, so please use this to double check your work. For the first one, we have 3 groups of 5. So I wrote down that if I have 3 groups of 5, I can count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I wrote down a 15. The other way of thinking of this is that 3 5s is 15, or 3 times 5 equals 15. So the total number of fingers in this first one is 15. For the next one, if we're thinking about the number of bananas, I can see that I can write the bananas as 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. So that's this, 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. And if I count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So there's 15 bananas total. We can also write that as 5 groups of 3 equals 15, and 5 times 3 equals 15. So you can see that for multiplication, if you have 3 times 5, it gives you the same answer as 5 times 3. So 3 groups of 5 is the same thing as 5 groups of 3. The last one, looking at the eggs, we have 6 eggs per box, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes. So I can add those together, 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6. And if I count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. I get 24 eggs. So I can write it as 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6 equals 24. That means the same thing as 4 groups of 6, which is also 24. Or for multiplication, 4 times 6 equals 24. So again, multiplication is a way of writing repeated addition. If there's 4 6s equals 24, we can write that as 4 times 6. I hope that that's helpful as a review for multiplication. Let's take a look at a story problem so we can continue to practice. Caroline, Brian, and Marta share a box of chocolates. They each get the same amount. Circle the chocolates below to show 3 groups of 4. Then write a repeated addition sentence and a multiplication sentence to represent the picture. So please start by drawing this on your paper. You can just use circles, you don't have to make them all fancy. And you're circling them in 3 groups of 4. So I have my drawing of 12 chocolates total, and I'm circling them in 3 groups of 4. When I divided up my picture, I had 12 candies total, and I divided them into 3 groups with 4 in each group. Some different ways that I could represent this is with repeated addition. That's 4 plus 4 plus 4 equals 12. You can see that in the picture. 4 plus 4 plus 4 equals 12. We can also use multiplication and say 4 times 3 equals 12 because there's 4 happening 3 times. Or 3 times 4 equals 12 because there's 3 groups of 4. Now we're going to think about division. So thinking about that same story problem, we are thinking, how could we represent this using division? If we start with 12 and we divide it up, what are some ways that we could write that using division problems? Write down a few ideas that you have on your piece of paper in front of you. A couple ways that we could write this are 12 divided by 4 equals 3. And again, that's kind of thinking like if I have 12 divided into groups of 4, that I would have 3 groups. We could also write 12 divided by 3 equals 4. So that's saying 12 divided into 3 equal groups, and it tells us that there's be 4 per group. So what we're starting to see is that division and multiplication are connected to each other. So when you have multiplication, if it's one number times another number equals this number and all, that this is like going the opposite direction. So our number, the total number, divided by the number of groups tells us how many there will be in each group. We're going to practice some division problems. So take a look at these boxes of candy, and we're practicing using division to find out equal groups. So first count how many candies you see total. Then count how many candies you see per box. Then we're going to write down how many boxes we see total. And then write a division sentence to describe the model. So whatever the total is, divided by the candies per box equals the number of boxes. Please pause the video and write down those answers now. Now we're going to check our work. So double check. The most important one that I want us to look at is this last answer. So we have 36. This number came from the total number of candies in all the boxes combined. We divided it by 9, which is the number of candies per one box. So we're saying if I have 36 candies, I put 9 in each box. How many boxes would I have? And we see that our answer is 4. That tells us how many boxes there are, or how many groups. You could also write 36 divided by 4 equals 9, and that would say there's 36 candies total, and I'm dividing them into 4 equal groups. How many candies can I put in each group? So it kind of depends on the story problem of how you want to write your division. Now it's your chance to practice. Please write down these 3 problems in your notebook and take a moment to find out what the answer would be for each of these. Remember that a good strategy you can use if you're feeling stuck is to either think that division is the opposite of multiplication, so what number times 4 equals 8, or you can also use the picture model that we've been doing. If you draw 8 of something, so like 8 stars, and circle them into 4 equal groups, how many would there be per group? Please do these problems on your own. Let me know if you have any questions. I hope that this video was helpful.